Hey residents of MeepleTown, today we're going to do a comparison video as gladiators in an arena, or we are going to be characters from Harry Potter casting spells in the arena. But regardless, we're looking at Strike the Dice game and Harry Potter Strike the Dice game. Let's get to the table and check them out. Okay, so here is the setup for Strike, and here's the setup for Strike the Dice game. And I'm going to explain how the game plays for both of these, and then just kind of give some of my brief thoughts. But since I'm not doing a full-on review, just so you know, Strike is a really fun game, especially a game it's kind of a hoot and holler game where everyone's going to be standing up and yelling at the dice, that sort of thing. So anyway, both games play to 5. You're going to have I've got it set up for a 2-player game, which I really recommend having more players. But I just didn't want to have too many dice on the table. But in a 2-player game, each player is going to start off with 8 dice. You're going to have 1 die in the arena. Now, the main mechanism of this game is going to be the exact same, but with the Harry Potter version, you're going to have some extra variants to how the dice play out. So I'm going to explain Strike the Dice game first, and then I'll explain the different dice in Harry Potter. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to start off, you're going to have 1 die in the arena, and on your turn, all you're going to do is you're going to take a die and you're going to throw it in there. Now you can strike that die that's in there. You can just roll it in there however you want to. But basically what you want are sets or pairs. You want matching dice in the arena. So now I rolled a 4 and a 2, or that's what's in there. There's a 4 and a 2 in there. So what I can do is I can keep going on my turn until I get a match. You know, it might not be those. You might be knocking them around in there, but essentially that's what you want to be able to do in order to win, because the object of the game is to knock out all the other players. You want everyone to have lost their dice except you by the end of the game. So in push your luck fashion, I can keep going or I can stop my turn. So I would keep going. I would just roll that in there. Let's see, I've got a 2, 4, and a 5. Well, I can't stop there. I got to keep going. So let's see if we can knock some of these around. Still don't have any matches, which, by the way, this is how it usually plays out for me. So I'll keep going. I'm going to do that again. And here we have one of the first rules that comes into play. If you have an X, then these X's, all the X's in there are going to be removed from the game. So that's no longer going to be there. However, I can continue my turn, and hey, why not? So I'm going to roll that, and look at here. I've got 3 of the 6s, and so now when I have matches, that is going to end my turn. I won't be able to continue on after that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these matches, and these are going to go into my pile. I started off with 8, now I have 6, so I ended up losing 2 dice, and 1 got removed from the game. So that will be my entire turn. The next player is going to go, and they're going to continue along this path. They got an X, that's going to be removed, but they can keep going. They're just going to keep going until, again, get matches. And now they have 8 dice, so they are at a wash right now. So they're actually in pretty good shape. That is how Strike the Dice game plays. Again, you're just going to keep going until everybody runs out of their dice. If you run out of your dice, you're going to be out for the round. But the reality is, on the box it says that this is a 15-minute game. Maybe. You know, it depends on how many players, but most of the time it's going to be a really quick game. 15 minutes probably max on this. Now, this is Harry Potter Strike the Dice game. Now, you can, if you wanted to, play regular Strike with the Harry Potter version of the game. I want to go ahead and throw that out there, because if you're looking at picking either one of these up and you like Harry Potter but you're not sure about the rule set, you can still play with the regular rules if you want. However, and it plays out the same way. Again, you're going to be rolling dice, but you're going to notice that there's going to be symbols on these dice this time instead of numbers on there. And that's because whenever you match up symbols, let's say I've got this in there, whenever you match up symbols, they're going to have different rule sets associated with them. One thing I didn't mention, by the way, if there are no dice in the arena at all, then the next player is going to have to roll all of their dice into the arena, which is really chaotic, but also a lot of fun. Okay, let me go over what the rules are for the Harry Potter version. Again, the same basic mechanisms of, you know, the push your luck, rolling 1 die at a time, that sort of thing. But each one of the dice faces, whenever you get matching sets, are going to do different rules. This one, the blue one, is the Immobilis, Now, what happens here is your turn will still end. However, you don't get to take these out of the arena. So the Immobilis matches are going to stay in there. So it's really bad to get those on your turn because you get the benefit of ending your turn, but without the gaining of the dice. Next, we have the let's do the Accio. So the Accio is the yellow symbol on there, and what happens is whenever I remove the matching Accio dice out, then I will also be able to remove one more die out of there, which in this case would empty the arena, making the next player have to roll all of their dice in there. Now, I didn't mention this earlier because it didn't really happen, but you're going to remove all of your matches. So if I had 5s and 2s, I get to remove all of those. You also get to do the same thing in Harry Potter Strike, but you'll choose which order you're going to do them, and that matters because of how the matches, how the different dice faces in this game are going to change the effect. Okay, so that's Accio. We got Relatio. That's the red symbol on there, and what that's going to mean is before all of the dice are removed from the arena, everybody's going to take one of their die and throw them into the arena, meaning that could be good, it could be bad, it could mess up some of your matches because you don't remove your matches until afterwards, making it, again, good or bad. Potentially you can get a lot of dice removed, potentially you could not remove any if people are knocking them all around in there. We have the Wingardian Leviosa, and what that's going to do is let's say we've got a bunch of dice in here and there are different symbols, okay? So I would remove these like normal, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack up all the rest of the dice in there. And now what's going to happen is, as long as you have dice stacked on top of each other, it's only going to be the top die that matches with the other dice in the arena. So I would have to, in this case, be able to have that. Now, eventually, you're probably going to knock things over, and that's really going to shake things up. But Wingardian Leviosa, as you can imagine, if you know Harry Potter, it's going to raise the dice up and stack them on top of each other. The last one, I don't think I missed any other ones, but the last one's going to be Confundo. Confundo is really easy. All it's going to do is reverse the order of play. And so if you're going clockwise, now you're going to be going counterclockwise, which is, kind of Uno fashion, which really shakes things up a little bit and can be, frustrating for players that are getting ready to take their turn. Yep, I believe I covered all of them. So that is how both of these games play out. Which do I prefer? Which one should you get? Well, whichever one seems most interesting. Again, like I said, you can play normal Strike with Harry Potter with, just matching the symbols and not messing at all with the abilities of the dice. Although I think probably you'll want to do that. If you want the Harry Potter one, you're going to probably want the experience of being able to do that. My preference in this, and I really like the Harry Potter universe, but my preference is actually Strike the Dice game with kind of some caveats. Like, the reason why I would say I would choose this one is because this is a party game that you're going to be introducing to a lot of people, playing with your families, playing, at convention is just kind of a silly thing where you don't really have to think. And that's exactly what this game is. If I'm introducing it to new players, this is a little bit confusing because you have to know what all of the different dice do, what all the different abilities of these dice do. And so that can be kind of confusing. So that's why I would choose this over this. However, if you've played it a lot, like let's say your family plays it a lot, you really like Harry Potter, and you know that you're going to be able to memorize what all the dice do, which, it's not that big of a deal. It's going to take a couple plays to really kind of grasp how things play out. But if you really like Harry Potter universe, your family plays this game all the time, I think this is pretty cool. I think it really changes up some of the rules, and in a good way. It also can be kind of frustrating. It's rolling dice and it's luck. It's just a lot of fun anyway. But it can be frustrating that, you get your dice locked in there, or, the turn's reverse and you're about to go on your next turn or whatever. If you don't mind that chaos and you like the idea of casting spells from Harry Potter, I recommend this one. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong. Both of these games are fantastic. Love them for what they are. They're not at all heavy strategy games. But anyone that I've introduced this game to has enjoyed it, has liked it. John doesn't love it, but I know some really heavier gamers that just have a lot of fun with this because it is what it is, right? It's just chunking dice into an arena. It's chunking gladiators into an arena and battling it out, and it's just a lot of fun. So anyway, I highly recommend either of these, whichever one seems to tickle your fancy, I guess. If you want to get in touch with us, if you want to reach out to us or find other content that we have, you can go to MeepleTownGames.com. That's our website with all of our content, with the podcast, YouTube videos. There's some written content on there as well. You can reach out to us social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MeepleTown Games. You can also email us if you'd like to do that. That's MeepleTownGames@gmail.com, or go to the guild at Board Game Geek. That's guild number 3407. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MeepleTown Games, and connect with us on the MeepleTown Guild, guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.